scores as well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some frickin' money. It's time for Puck It with Jo. And happy Monday, everyone. It is Monday, November 25th. I'm Jo of SportsGrid, and it's time for Puck It with Jo over here on SportsGrid TV. Now, Mondays are normally a little bit quiet in the NHL, but we have an absolutely loaded slate today. So many games to get into. Again, as always, picks, props, and predictions in all of these games, and we will do the recap at the end. So if you can't hang out the whole time, make sure you do come back. Check out that recap for my bets in these. Happy Monday to each and every one of you. I appreciate each of you for joining me here today. We're going to kick it off here with the matchup between the Dallas Stars and the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, all odds are over on FanDuel. We're seeing the Stars coming in at plus 106. The Carolina Hurricanes at minus 128. This total sitting at 6.5. Now, the juice is to the under 6.5 and at minus 114. And I can't look any other way than the under in this game. You look here at the Dallas Stars. We know how strong this team can be offensively, but defensively as well. Jake Ottinger expected in net for them. And the Carolina Hurricanes, off a couple of losses here, really are going to look to lock down on the defensive side of the puck. We know this is a team that limit the opponent's ability to get those shots on goal. I really do think this is a 2-1 style game between these two teams. Spencer Martin, though, is in goal here for the Carolina Hurricanes. So he's going to need to stand on his head in this game. As we know, the Stars do have a potent offense out here, but I do think defense and goaltending rule this game. Again, it's going to need to be the defense here of Carolina really stepping up and giving Spencer Martin that support in goal. We look here at the Carolina Hurricanes. They lost those last two games, like I said. Shootout loss on Saturday versus the Columbus Blue Jackets, in which they allowed 5 goals there. It was a 5-4 loss in shootout style, and that's not the kind of hockey Carolina wants to play. So I am looking for that lockdown. We look here at the Rangers. We look here at the Carolina Hurricanes. They do have the Rangers on deck on Wednesday, and then they have 2 versus the Florida Panthers. They have home and road Friday and Saturday versus the Florida Panthers. So the next game could be the look ahead with the Rangers, but I doubt it. The Rangers sitting there in the Metro as well. I think they can get it done in a lower scoring game in that one, but this one as well going to that under. Now, they will have a boost in their team with Seth Jarvis activated from the IR. So Seth Jarvis coming back to the lineup here for the Carolina Hurricanes. The Dallas Stars have been rolling hot, though, you guys. They've won their last 2 games. Saturday, they got the win versus the Tampa Bay Lightning 4-2. They're the Blackhawks on deck on Wednesday. They're going to step up for this one. This team sitting third in the Central. The under 6.5 for me at minus 114. The Washington Capitals are next, taking on the Florida Panthers. The Washington Capitals are the dog, coming in at plus 146. The Florida Panthers at minus 176, total of 6.5. Now, the juice is on the under 6.5 at minus 132. The over 6.5 at plus 108. Now, I know these teams can lock down defensively, but I'm seeing a higher scoring battle between these two teams, especially in that first period. I'm looking for that first period to go over 1.5 goals. That's coming in at minus 128. Both teams to score in the first period isn't out of the question. I know Ovi is out of this lineup, but I don't doubt that the Washington Capitals will be able to score on Spencer Knight in net tonight for the Florida Panthers. Spencer Knight coming in 3-3 on the season with a 2.73 goals against average, a save percentage below 900, not far below 900, and 897, but still it is below 900. And we know the Washington Capitals have been able to score. Now they've lost their last 2. They lost to the Devils at home 3-2 in their last game out on Saturday. Now, Wednesday, they will face the Lightning on the road. Friday, they're back home versus the Islanders. Saturday on the road versus the Devils again. So there could be a little bit of a look ahead to face that Devils team again that they lost to, that's sitting there in the Metro with them. This team is 3rd in the Metro, 2nd in the Atlantic for the Florida Panthers. So when we're looking ahead, this isn't a spot where I think this is going to be their look ahead spot. It might be that game versus the Isles But looking here, the first period, over 1.5 at -128. Both teams to score in the first period at +170. Now, if you're looking for someone who has been getting those goals for the Florida Panthers versus an Eastern Conference opponent, it has been Sam Bennett, able to score a goal in 4 of the last 5 versus the Eastern division opponent. So that's coming in at +260. We've also seen the Florida Panthers struggle to cover that puck line at home versus a Metro opponent. They've gone 0-6 on that puck line. So there's no value here on the Florida Panthers on the money line as they are -176. That puck line -1.5 is +140, but those trends do say versus Metro teams, they play tight games. The Washington Capitals, there's no value taking them +1.5. It's coming in at -172. So the first period is where I'm going to play this in case we get that lockdown in the second. Daniel, thank you for joining us here. Let's make some freaking money today. And absolutely, go Chargers, hobble ball. There is no way I'm not wearing Chargers gear all day long, just to put you all on notice. I've been a Chargers fan since 2006, back in the LT days and the Phillip Rivers days. So loyal to my team. We've gone through some hard years. Hopefully this is where we start to get back on track. Kev, happy Monday. If you guys could hit that like, retweet, subscribe button, I would so appreciate it here on this beautiful Monday. So give me the first period in this game to start off with a bang. When we look at the Colorado Avalanche, they're taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now this is moved from a pick'em. This was a -110 either way. We are seeing money come in on the Tampa Bay Lightning. This is moved to the Lightning -115, the Colorado Avalanche at -104. I like the Lightning here at home with that last change. This total sitting at 6.5, -105 to the over, -115 to the under. Now, I'm going to look at doing something different. You guys know that I always love playing that first period over 1.5 of both teams to score when I think it's going to be a higher scoring game. I think we're going to get a lockdown to start between these two teams. We have seen defense step up for Colorado. Cale Makar has been playing great out there. He's been getting those block shots. I think we start off slower in this game, and I'll be kicking myself if it's a higher first scoring period, but I think those goals come in the second period, and the books think so as well. In the second period, you've got to take over 2.5 goals for that total. That's coming in at +156. I don't know if I love it, you guys. I think it's kind of risky out there. We need 3 goals in the second period. I think that will be our highest scoring period of this game, and that's why I was looking at that. Both teams to score in the second period, though, is where I'm going to go. That's coming in at +114. In the first period, we normally get more value on the both teams to score in that first period, and in the second period it normally is the total going to that over, and they normally juice it up to a 2.5 in a lot of these cases. So I'll take both teams to score in the second period. I think goaltending and defense is locked down in the first. We look at Colorado, they're rolling in here. They've won their last 3. They hit the Panthers so hard on Saturday. They're able to put up 7 goals, still allowed those 4 to come in. This is their last game on the road, and they're looking to sweep this road trip. A win here will be a sweep on the road, 4 games in total. Again, they've won their last 3. Georgiev in goal. Andre Vasilevsky expected out here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, this team needs to lock down on the defensive side, especially to start. They've lost their last 2. The Dallas Stars beat them on Saturday, 4-2 loss at home for this team. They have the Capitals on deck on Wednesday. So they're sitting 5th in the Atlantic, 4th in the Central here for the Colorado Avalanche. Again, lockdown first period. Second period opens things up. Give me both teams to score in the second period. Now, if you do want to look at a trend, though, the Tampa Bay Lightning have won the first period in the last 5 versus Colorado. So if you want to take the puck line for the Tampa Bay Lightning in the first period, I could see them going up 1-0. And then that second period, both teams scoring, us going into that third period with 3 goals. So that's kind of the storyline in my head, how I see this one playing out. Anthony Cirelli has been strong. He's been on fire. His anytime goal is coming in at +290. He scored at least 1 goal in each of the Lightning's last 5 games. So he's been hitting that back of the net. I do think this one has a possibility of going to overtime. The overtime bet between these two coming in at +370. If you're looking at Colorado to get those points tonight, it's a power play points all day for me. Cale Makar, Nathan MacKinnon, and Rantanen all of their power play points, you're not getting as much value. You know, you used to look at the power play points, you were getting plus 200 or higher on the power play points. Tonight, Cale Makar, plus 125 for the power play points. So it's could be a lower scoring game in that first, higher scoring in the second. The third could push us to overtime, which will push us over that total if we get there. Now, when we look at the last time these teams faced up in Tampa, we did see 9 goals. So we could see that over 2.5 hit in that second period. And if you're willing to take that, that's at plus 156. If I'm throwing it out here, you guys, I'm going to put a little sprinkle on it. I do think that both teams to score is stronger at plus 114 though. Okay, let's look at the Nashville Predators. The Nashville Predators are taking on the New Jersey Devils, and I think the Preds are barking tonight. They're plus 122 here on the money line. The New Jersey Devils minus 146. Total sitting at 5.5. Minus 134 to the over and plus 110 to the under. I'm going to hit this one under the total. I do think the Predators have the opportunity of winning. If the Preds are to win this, I think this has to be in a lower scoring game. We look at Saros. He is expected in goal here for the Nashville Predators. So before you bet this, do wait to see if Saros will be in net tonight. Saros's numbers against the Devils have been outstanding. 8-1-1 in his career with a 2.24 goals against average and a 928 save percentage. He needs to stand on his head. We know the Preds have been allowing those goals to come in. Goaltending has been a weakness for this team this season, and offensively in some of these games, they really haven't stepped up. So the Preds and the under is where I'm going to go. Jacob Markstrom in a net here for the New Jersey Devils. The last time Markstrom faced the Predators, he was with the Calgary Flames. Now, in that matchup, he allowed 4 goals, but you look at the intensity the offense of the Predators came at him with. He got no support from his defense. There was 45 shots in that game by the Predators. The Predators will need to put that same pressure on Jacob Markstrom. We know his numbers are solid out there. I just don't think this is a higher scoring game. Now, if you want to look at players, though, for player points, I would look at Steven Stamkos and Jonathan Marchessault here for the Nashville Predators. We have seen the Devils, Jack Hughes, very strong versus the Preds in his career. He scored at least a goal in each of the Devils' last 3 games versus the Predators. So I do think he registers at least a point tonight here for the Devils. So if you want to look at Jack Hughes for the point or the anytime goal, we just look at the Devils and we look at their schedule, and they played some pretty hard games. And the Preds have always played them hard. The Predators actually won the last 8 meetings in New Jersey. So you guys, when we see a team that has dominated one, it's just where I have to go. So could be Colorado to have a letdown. Yeah, Colorado. It's their last game of a road trip, Peter. Yes, but they've won their last 3, so they're looking to sweep that road trip. It is kind of a hard way. If I had to lean one way or the other between the Avs and the Lightning, it would be the Lightning because they're at home and get last change. So I understand where you're going. It's very hard for a team to sweep on the road as well, but they're going to be so motivated to do so. So we could get those mistakes out there. Picks from Dave's. Happy Monday, Picks from Dave. I hope you are doing well. If you guys haven't followed Dave, go on over and check him out. Okay. Preds money line under. If it feels wrong saying it, you guys know I love the New Jersey Devils. They are off a road win versus the Capitals, 3-2 on Saturday. They have the Blues on deck on Wednesday. They've been playing in a lot of hard-hitting battles out there, and they're taking on the 7th team in the Central. Yeah, that has dominated them. It's got to be the Preds for me. Let's look at the Las Vegas Golden Knights. The Las Vegas Golden Knights are minus 140 favorite on the road. Now they have won their last 2 road games. They're taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. The Flyers are a home dog at plus 116. If you like the Flyers, we're slowly losing value on them. They were like a plus 18, plus 120 underdog at home earlier today. This total sitting at 6.5. The juice to the 6.5. To the under here, we have Adin Hill expected in net here for Vegas. He's got strong numbers versus the Flyers, and Fedorov coming in here for the Flyers. Now, his numbers are not good. He's 3-4 on the season with a 3.69 goals against average. We have seen the Flyers get a couple wins as of late. Their last win was versus the Chicago Blackhawks. They had to go to OT to get that win, though, 3-2. That was at home on Saturday. Now they will be out on the road versus the Predators on Wednesday. Vegas is a team that I struggle to trust on the road, even though those last 2 wins have come on the road. They beat Montreal in great fashion. I was on the wrong side of that. I had Montreal on the puck line. And Vegas came out and got the 6-2 win. They also got the win on the road on Thursday versus the Ottawa Senators. Again, Ottawa was a team that dominated Vegas, and Vegas came out and broke those trends. So they have lost their last 5 versus Metro opponents. The Flyers coming in here 7th in the Metro. So that is a strong trend. If you're looking for the Flyers, I am tempted to take the Flyers just because I don't trust Vegas enough on the road here. They are sitting first in the Pacific, and the look-ahead situation will be not a divisional matchup, but the Abs on deck on Wednesday to end a 4-game road trip. So game number 3 on the road. Which game is more important? Well, both of them are important because it's not a divisional matchup. This one probably easier to win than the game versus the Colorado Avalanche, just with how those 2 teams match up. I think they give it their all in this one. I'm going to just circle a player prop here. I love Thomas Hertl to come out and get the anytime goal. He's coming in at plus 240. He has been strong on the road when Vegas is the favorite, which is the majority of the time, being able to get those goals. So give me Thomas Hertl for the anytime goal at plus 240. Yeah, I know what happened to the Rangers in the last game on the road. They lost 6-2 versus Edmonton. So it is a case where you see these teams, they're tired at the end of a road trip. I really like to fade teams at the end of a road trip when they're looking at game 5 or 6, and they've already taken a loss within that road trip, especially when we get all the way to game 5 and 6. Game 4, not really as much of a fade unless we're seeing that 4th game within 6 nights. And then I go, okay, this is going to be a really tired leg situation. But Peter, I completely understand where you're going. Again, I do lean towards the Tampa Bay Lightning, but I think it's going to be an absolute battle out there. Colorado's actually been playing the better hockey as of late, but I think between Colorado playing the better hockey, the last game of a road trip here, and then them looking to sweep, and then Tampa not playing so great, but looking to get the win against them, getting that last change. I think overtime, the best bet at that plus 370 mark, and this one to be just a complete battle out there on the ice. The St. Louis Blues fired coach, a system is in play. I can hear my friend Scott Wetzel of SportsGrid yelling right now. It's the St. Louis Blues. Take them. They're plus money on that money line. Let's just pull up those odds here on FanDuel. So they fired their coach and then right away turned around and hired Jim Montgomery. Now, I'm sure this deal was already in the works. Everyone's saying that was fast. Jim Montgomery was coming up against contract negotiations with the Bruins for a while. So I think he'd already lined up the St. Louis Blues. This was a conversation definitely that these parties had already, I think, before Montgomery left the Bruins. I think it was more of a mutual parting than really a firing out there. They just couldn't reach contract agreement. So we do have the coach fired here for the St. Louis Blues. The Blues, you're losing value on that money line. Get in and grab it now. Plus 180 here on the St. Louis Blues, straight up on the money line. Plus 1.5 on that puck line is minus 142. So still, it's juicy. But if you just want to take the puck line, I completely understand why. Now, the New York Rangers, yes, are the better team, you guys. They're minus 220 here on the money line. I just can't pass up on the value of a coach's fired system. That total is sitting at 5.5, minus 140 to the over. When we look at the under is coming in at plus 114. Now, Tampa has been strong in the first period on the puck line versus the St. Louis Blues, winning the last 4 first periods. We could see Tampa go up by a goal in the first period. And then, not Tampa, the New York Rangers go up in the first period. And then this game be the St. Louis Blues coming back. The St. Louis Blues always come back in their games. And, well, not always, but this is a team that we have seen fight their way back so nice and strong out there on the ice that I never think games are done when they're playing. So if you want to look at the Rangers, first period puck line, laying a half goal, that's coming in at plus 34. At that point, if Tampa goes up first, that live betting situation on the St. Louis Blues plus 1.5, you're not going to have to lay that minus 140 juice. So you will have a perfect scenario to come back on the St. Louis Blues if you don't trust them on the money line. Again, this is a team that never stops fighting, and I think that fight comes out huge in this game today. Jordan Binnington will be in goal tonight for the St. Louis Blues. You look at his numbers versus the Rangers, 4-3 in 7 games, a 2.89 goals against average, and a 901 save percentage. Great numbers. Igor expected for the Rangers. Igor, he struggled versus the St. Louis Blues, to say it nicely. Save percentage of 878 versus the St. Louis Blues, a goals against average of 3.49. You might not get the opportunity to take the St. Louis Blues live after the Rangers score. We might not see that happen. We might see the St. Louis Blues score first. That's why I'm jumping on right now straight up on that money line for the St. Louis Blues. Coaches fired system against a goaltender that has struggled versus them in the past. So let's go Blues. Let's get things done tonight. If you're looking for those player props, the players that I really do think will light things up tonight: Jake Neighbors, Jordan Kyrou, and Robert Thomas. We know Robert Thomas is on pace this season to break some records for the St. Louis Blues, so he is a go-to for me now. He's back from injuries. He needs to step up, and we know how strong he is for this team. Now, the Blues have lost their last 6 on the road versus Metro divisional opponents, so that is a huge hit against them. We have seen Jake Neighbors score a goal in 3 of the last 4 games for the St. Louis Blues, and I do think he gets that goal tonight. So Jake Neighbors for the anytime goal. His in front of net presence is so strong. He'll get in the face of that goaltender, stay out of his paint, but get right there, and his ability to just chip one in is fantastic. So it's the Blues all day. Let me know if you're rolling with the fired coach system in this one. The Calgary Flames. Okay, this is going to come down to goaltending. The Calgary Flames taking on the Ottawa Senators. Now, I just want to see if we're getting confirmation. Dustin Wolf is expected in goal for Calgary, and I want to see if we have confirmation on him, because Dustin Wolf has been light and day versus or out here for Calgary. Yeah, he is confirmed, you guys, instead of Dan Vladar. The Calgary Flames are a plus 130 underdog. Minus 160 here for the Ottawa Senators. Total 5.5. The 5.5 has juice to the over at minus 128. And I know the offensive weapons on both sides. I'm looking for the lockdown by both goaltenders. We have Omar. No, it's Philip Forsberg, or Anton Forsberg is confirmed here for the Ottawa Senators. I want to take the Ottawa Senators team total to the under because of Dustin Wolf. Dustin Wolf is 8-1 on the season with a 2.32 goals against average and a 926 save percentage. He has been straight fire. Now, the majority of his games have been at home, so we got to take that into account. He's now out on the road in Ottawa versus an Ottawa team that desperately needs this win. This team has been struggling as of late. Let's just look at their they've lost their last 5. So that last loss, I'm just going to pull up their schedule here for you. They lost versus the Vancouver Canucks 4-3 at home. They lost versus the Vegas Golden Knights 3-2 at home. The Edmonton Oilers 5-2 at home. They were on the road versus the Canes. They got shut out in that one on 2 Saturdays ago. And their last win did come versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. They were on the road for that one. They won that 3-0. And the game before, they beat the Boston Bruins in an overtime win, 3-2. So this team has not won since the 12th of November. It has been a hot minute, losing those last 5 games. Their inability to get these goals on the board has been so prevalent for this team. So I would look at their team total under 3.5. The problem is the books think that team total under 3.5 is going to hit. It's coming in at minus 158. They've lost their last 6 games as a favorite, and they've lost their last 4 first periods. Can we see Calgary go up in the first period? I don't love it. because Calgary has got off to slow starts in some of these games. We've got Anton Forsberg. He's got a .903 save percentage, a 2.76 goals against average. I'm going to look at the first period under 1.5. It's coming in at -112. But I also think you look at the second period under 1.5 goals at +134 in case for some reason we see Ottawa hit Dustin Wolf quick, because I do think Calgary might be able to get up in the first period. So we could see the first period hit 2 goals. I really do think that lockdown in this game is happening in the second period. Under 1.5 in the second period at +134. My favorite bet of this game, next to the under 5.5 for the full period at +104. I do think the first and second period have every opportunity of being lower scoring, especially that second period. So second period, we're getting more value under 1.5 at +134, you guys. We're rolling with some second period bets on today's show. It's going to be a lot of fun. So not only will we stress the first periods, but we'll stress those second periods. But we'll get out of those games before the end of that second. The Detroit Red Wings are taking on the New York Islanders. Now, we did just see them win this matchup. They're now +128. Dogs on the road. The Islanders at -154. Total 5.5. -102 to the under, -120 to the over. I'm going to go under again on this game. It was +100. It's now -102. So there is a little bit of movement, not enough for me not to think there's value here. I do think we have a defensive battle out there on the ice. Alex Leon coming in here for the Detroit Red Wings, and Varlamov is confirmed here for the New York Islanders, not Sorokin. So Varlamov has a 2.60 goals against average and a .903 save percentage. So strong numbers. We know the Red Wings are a team that completely struggle to get those goals. They did win this matchup on Thursday in a 2-1 style game, and I think we've got the same thing out here in this game. And I know the last game was in Detroit, so the Red Wings had the last change. But I don't think the Islanders will hit Alex Leon easily in this one. The Islanders are a team that will pull their goaltender under. Patrick Waugh is crazy out there. He'll pull him whenever he thinks. It could be the first period. And we've seen Patrick Waugh pull his goaltender to try to get that edge. But I do think in this one, it stays under the 5.5 at -102. It has value. And I do think the Red Wings, just looking at them with that plus money at +126, is the way to go. They've won their last 4 versus the Isles as a dog. They come in as a dog versus the Isles, and that's where you got to go. We're going to move on to the Winnipeg Jets versus the Minnesota Wild. Another game I think has the opportunity of staying under the total. If you hate unders, today is not your day to follow my picks, because I'm liking so many unders. I know we started off the show with a couple of overs and a couple of second period overs, but really rolling into some of these games, the under is where I'm heavy on. The under 5.5 in this matchup between the Jets and the Wild, coming in at +104. We're getting plus money. If you want to take it to the over, it's -128. I just can't get there. Each of the Jets' last 7 games versus the Central Divisional opponents have gone under that number. They're so strong at locking down defensively. Our only issue will be if the Winnipeg Jets come out here and they do what we saw at the start of the season, which was light the lamp nonstop. Kyle Connor, we saw that slump go through the Winnipeg Jets. And I think in this one, with how strong the Minnesota Wild are on the defensive side, it's not going to be easy for the Jets to score in this game. But it's not going to be easy for the Wild to score either. The Wild here will face up against Connor Hellebuck, expected in net for the Jets. Gustafsson expected here for the Minnesota Wild. Next to Dustin Wolf, Gustafsson has been one of the hottest goalies in the league as well. Now, they're coming off that shootout loss to the Calgary Flames 4-3. And here we have the Winnipeg Jets off the loss to the Predators on Saturday, 4-2. They've lost 2 of their last 3 or 2. They're 2-3 in their last 5. Sorry, that's how the stat goes. So this team has not been performing as strong as we saw to start the season. This is game 3 on the road. They have the Kings on Wednesday and Vegas on deck on a Friday. We also see the Wild in a normally fade spot here. They're home off a 3-game road trip, back on the road on Wednesday to face the Sabres. They're going to step up in this one. This is a battle of the Central. So I'm not looking to fade them here. Because of that home from the road trip, I'm not looking to fade the Winnipeg Jets. I'm going to take this one under the 5.5 I'm also going to take this game to go to overtime at plus 350. These teams are going to battle it out in the Central. If this goes to overtime, I really do think the Minnesota Wild win it in OT. I like Gustafsson. I like what he's been able to do. And Kaprizov, you're right. Kaprizov is a difference maker out there. He's been getting those points on the board. Let's go Wild. Daniel liking the Sens at home. Peter, the Red Wings have shown have won 3 of the last 4 games in the series. Yeah, the Red Wings have been strong versus the Isles. So definitely a strong way to look. Let's move on, you guys. We got 2 more games left on deck, and then we will do the recap for all of you joining this show late. So the Seattle Kraken are a favorite on the road versus the Anaheim Ducks. Now, they have dominated the Ducks. The Ducks are coming in at minus 128, total 5.5, minus 118 to the over, minus 104 to the under. This is another lower scoring game, and the juice keeps ticking up on the under. The under 5.5 was plus 105. It's now minus 104. So you're losing value in it, but I still think a strong way to go. Dostal has been great in net here for the Anaheim Ducks, and the Ducks haven't been getting blown out by teams. They are covering the puck line in their last 6. They've covered that puck line. They're off a loss versus the Sabres in overtime 3-2. We have the Seattle Kraken, a Kraken team that doesn't score a heck of a lot of goals out there. They're off that loss to the LA Kings 3-2. So they're not allowing a lot of goals to come in either. But they have won the last 7 meetings versus the Ducks. Again, the line is too juicy for me to take the Seattle Kraken at minus 156. That's a stay off for me. So I just got to play the under 5.5 at minus 102. So that's the only place I'm going with that. There is value here on the Ducks at home, a home dog, but not against a team that they struggle to beat. And any game, this could come down to Dostal. If Dostal can get the shutout tonight, the Ducks win this, because I do think the Ducks will hit Joey Daccord at least once in this game. So another 2-1 style game. It's all going to come down to how Dostal plays in this game. Last but not least, we have the LA Kings taking on the San Jose Sharks, you guys. The Sharks are one of the biggest underdogs of the day. A $2 underdog. They are the biggest. Plus 202. We are seeing more money come in on the LA Kings, minus 250 favorite. Now, this total sitting at 5.5 as well. Minus 115 to the over, minus 105 to the under. We look at the Sharks. They already have beat the Kings this season. Back in October, they won this 4-2. David Rittich expected here for the LA Kings. Mackenzie Blackwood for the San Jose Sharks. Again, Mackenzie Blackwood has been solid in net. Now the Sharks looking to get back on the right track. They've lost their last 3 games. We have the LA Kings off that win versus the Kraken at home 2-1. They have the Jets on deck on Wednesday. Is this a look ahead? Who really looks at the Sharks and say, okay, well, they beat us once. Cares if they beat them again? Sitting last in the Pacific, the LA Kings 3rd in the Pacific. And yes, they want to get that separation. But the Sharks team has played them strong. We have the LA Kings off a win. They've had their struggles in the first period, off a win as a favorite in the first period in their next game. They've lost that first period. So if you want to look at Sharks in the first period, I like it. They're also 0-5 on the puck line as a favorite off a win. The San Jose Sharks on that puck line, minus 1.5 is plus or minus 134. So we're not getting great value there. You are getting, I was looking at the wrong line. I was like, you're getting the Ducks plus 1.5 at plus 196. No, minus 196. So the Sharks here, plus 1.5 at minus 134, I think is worth it. And then the money line at plus 202. I think they have every ability to beat the Kings in a look ahead spot versus the Winnipeg Jets. So that's where I'm going today, you guys. Tons of games, tons of different spots you can jump in on. Let me know what you're liking. I see so many people out there watching between all the platforms. We have 1,500 people watching right now. So if you like that, if you like this show, want to keep it going every single day, we are here at noon Eastern. So hit that like, hit that retweet button. And you guys, let's jump in to that recap. First, have a sip of coffee. It's a lot of talking here on a Monday morning. Okay, you guys ready to go? The recap coming at the 34-minute mark. Again, all odds are from FanDuel. So if you're looking for certain lines that I got, go on over and check it out there. Now, warning you guys, liking a lot of unders on today's slate. We are playing some second period props as well. So let's jump straight into it. The Dallas Stars taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. I'm going to take this one under the total of 6.5. Looking for the Canes, especially to lock down on that defensive side off their last 2 losses. We have seen the Dallas Stars rolling hot. So if you want to jump on them, I understand why you're getting some plus money on the Dallas Stars, and they'll face Spencer Martin, expected in goal here for the Carolina Hurricanes. But I think for me, it's the under 6.5 is the best bet. When we look here at the Washington Capitals taking on the Florida Panthers, I am going to look for this to be a higher scoring first period. I know no Ovi in the lineup, but I'm thinking the Capitals will get those goals tonight on Spencer night, and we will see Florida do what Florida does best, get those goals on Logan Thompson. So the first period over 1.5 at -128. Both teams to score at +170. Sam Bennett is a playmaker out there for the Florida Panthers. I'm going to take him for the anytime goal at +260. If you're looking for the points for the Caps, look at Majapani and Dylan Strome. The Colorado Avalanche taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm going to look at the second period. I think the second period opens up in this game. I wouldn't be shocked if we had a lower scoring first period and a high scoring second period. I'm taking both teams to score in the second period at +114. I'll also look for the over 2.5 to come into play in the second period at +156. It's a little risky, you guys, but I can see 3 goals coming in the second. I think this one has every opportunity of going to OT. That's coming in at +370. Anthony Cirelli has been on fire. His anytime goal +290 here. I would also look at Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon and Rantanen for the power play points for Colorado. Jake Gunsel, anytime goal here as well for the Tampa Bay Lightning, coming in at +165. I do think this game goes over that total. The last time they faced off in Tampa, we saw a total of 9 goals. The Nashville Predators taking on the New Jersey Devils. This is a play on the dog here on the road. Give me the Nashville Predators straight up on the money line. This will come down to Saros, though. So if you can take safe shots on goal props on Saros, they're not out as of yet. If I can talk, you guys, over 27.5, over 28.5 safe shots on goal, I do think will come into play for Saros tonight. And I do think it stays under the total of 5.5. I'd look at Steven Stamkos and Jonathan Marchessault for the points. Again, when I'm looking at a lower scoring game, it's hard to really jump on a lot of props in it. But Jack Hughes, he has scored in the last 3 games versus a Pred. So if you want to look at someone for the Devils, that would be who I would circle. The Vegas Golden Knights versus the Philadelphia Flyers. Vegas's team total is an interesting look here. I do think they could go over 3.5 goals. That's coming in with plus money. But there's something telling me the home dog here, Vegas, has been rolling hot on the road. We know they haven't been the strongest road team as of late. I do think this could be a letdown with the Avs on deck. I think the Flyers are worth a look here at home. My best bet, though, my favorite bet is just Thomas Hertl to stay hot. He's been getting those goals for the Vegas Golden Knights. He's coming in at +240. Not my favorite matchup of the day. The St. Louis Blues and the New York Rangers coaches fired system hugely in play today for the St. Louis Blues. I think the Blues can get the win here over the New York Rangers. Now, if you like the Rangers to come out strong in the first period, they have won the last 4 first periods versus the St. Louis Blues. So you could take the Rangers on the puck line in the first period at +134. And I'm hoping that's how it comes down, because you have to lay a goal or half a goal in the first period. You'll get that +134. And then what it will do is it will give us the Blues +1.5 on the puck line with better value that we can jump back in on, especially if we have the sprinkle on the money line of the Blues going into this one at that 2-1 to our money. So I love it. I love looking at this. I think the fired coaches system is hugely in play. Jake Neighbors has been strong for the Blues as of late. I'd look at his anytime goal. His in front of net presence is phenomenal, but Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou, I think, can find the back of the net as well tonight. Robert Thomas being my second favorite goal scorer. The Calgary Flames versus the Ottawa Senators. Dustin Wolf has been confirmed here for Calgary. And while we've seen him have great success at home, I do think that success rolls into this road game here versus the Ottawa Senators. Remember, the Sens have lost their last 5. This team hasn't won at all since November 12th. I think when we looked at the schedule was their last win. I love the Sens team total under 3.5. The problem with that is it's too highly juiced at -158. I think the first period stays under 1.5 goals. That's coming in at -112. I do love the second period under 1.5 even more. That's coming in at +134. I could see a scenario where we see 2 goals in the first and a complete lockdown in the second. So it just depends on Dustin Wolf here on the road, because I think Calgary, while they've got off to some slow starts, could hit Anton Forsberg in that first period. So I'm shying away from the first period, you guys. I will look at the second period under 1.5 goals at +134, but I do think this game stays under the total of 5.5. The Detroit Red Wings and the New York Islanders, we just saw this matchup last Thursday. I will go to what I think it will be the same as last time, the under 5.5 in this one. Again, we're starting to lose value. That is now -102. It was +100, so get it before it is gone. And I think the Red Wings can get another win. They won on Thursday at home 2-1, and I think they win this 2-1. Again, if you want to put in a exact score, you can get great value on that. But the Red Wings +128 on the money line. The Winnipeg Jets versus the Minnesota Wild. Again, another low-scoring battle out here. We have the Wild off that loss to the Calgary Flames. The Winnipeg Jets off the loss to the Predators. Both of those teams allowing way too many goals for each of their likings. I think we stay under the total of 5.5. Now, this is scary because I am liking this to go to OT. That's coming in at +350. I sure hope this isn't a 3-2 game for one of these teams, and then that OT, well, I guess if the OT comes into play, it cancels out our under, but we still win the overtime at +350. So hopefully it's not the empty netter, because if the empty netter comes in, that will crush that total. The Seattle Kraken versus the Anaheim Ducks. The Kraken have dominated the Ducks, and I just can't see the Ducks quacking in this one. These teams play again on Wednesday in Seattle. So I'm looking for another lower scoring game. Dostal has been strong here for the Anaheim Ducks. Joey Decord coming out here for the Seattle Kraken. This is all going to come down to Dostal and what he can do in this one, because I do think we will see the Ducks actually hit Joey Decord. I like Toffoli. I like Celebrini. What these kids have been putting together has been great out there on the ice, especially Celebrini, Leo Carlson looking good. And we've seen the Ducks play in really tight games. They covered the puck line in their last 6. They're off that loss to the Sabres 3-2. So another lower scoring game as the defenses and goaltending play stronger than the offense in this. And the last but not least, the LA Kings taking on the San Jose Sharks. The Sharks, give me the Sharks +1.5 on the puck line. Give me the Sharks as well on the money line, a $2 underdog today. This is a team that's already beat the LA Kings this season 4-2. If memory serves me right, this was the Sharks' first win of the season, wasn't it, you guys? We got to look that up, because the Sharks, I remember them beating the LA Kings. The LA Kings were in a really weird scheduling spot in that game that they lost to the Sharks. But I think here, got to look ahead to the Winnipeg Jets. So Sharks have to get right on the right side of the column. You guys, that is it for the recap. If we're looking here at what I'm liking for more of a round robin kind of bets out there, it's hard because I'm liking a lot of lower scoring games. We know those empty netters, especially when it's a 5.5, really do come into play in these games and can ruin those totals. So a lot of these games, I think you got to really play around with where you're thinking those first period, second period, third periods. And that's why I've got some of these second period plays in effect today. I do think the overtime plays are really strong today for Colorado and Tampa and the Winnipeg Jets and the Minnesota Wild. I really love those. I think the Preds, with how they played in New Jersey, winning the last 8 meetings in New Jersey, is strong. So let's do the Preds on the money line. With that plus money for one of my legs for the round robin. I'm also going to look at the Washington game and the Florida Panthers. I love that both teams to score in the first period. They're coming in at +170. And then the Dallas Stars and the Carolina Hurricanes. I love a defensive battle in that. So I will take the under 6.5. So those are the 3 legs for the round robin. If you're looking for a player prop tonight, it would be Cale Makar on the power play here for the Colorado Avalanche. I just think he's playing phenomenal hockey at the moment. Another player I would look would be Jake Neighbors or Robert Thomas here for the St. Louis Blues. I really do think the Blues can get it done tonight, pull off the upset. But you guys, happy Monday. It's a beautiful Monday. Let's go Chargers. Let me know where you're going out there tonight. Chargers, Ravens. Because I'm like tingling. I'm so excited to see this matchup between these two teams. And you know what? I absolutely love the Ravens. The Chargers are my team, but the Ravens, Ray Lewis years when they won that Super Bowl in his year that he retired, phenomenal. And I have so much respect for that team. So I'm hoping for a great one out there. We know Jim Harbaugh's going to look to control the clock. Oh, it's going to be a family affair, family battle out there. But you guys, thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you. Let's make some freaking money today. Let me know what you're loving on the ice. Let me know if you got some same game parlays for us that you think we should take a look at. Let me know what your favorite bet is of the show. And let me know what bet you're going to fade of the show. There's something you totally disagree with. I want to hear about it. And before like I double up on something, like if you're like, no, look at this stat, look at this that you've missed, please tell us so we can all make sure we have all of the information, you guys. But I appreciate you. Let's make some freaking money today. I will see you tomorrow, same time, noon Eastern. Bye, guys. Hit so many times.